be pulling 3 spring palettes that I want to be using over the next 3 months. I know that doesn't sound like a lot. What I do when I do these types of videos is I pull, I don't know, maybe 10 palettes, and I'm like, I want to use all of these palettes over the next season. And what I found was, yes, maybe I use them, but I might have used one shade in one of them one time. And it became a little bit too much, especially with the amount of projects that I do on my channel. So what I've decided is I didn't do anything for winter because quite honestly, winter is just so miserable and whatever. I don't know what type of makeup I want to do over the winter. But for spring is really when I feel like life comes back, right? It's just like, that is what we expect, right? That is the epitome of spring. Everything blooms and everyone's happy for the most part. It's just a good time of the year, okay? So I'm desperate for the winter to be over, and this is a little bit of an homage to, saying goodbye to winter vampy makeup, because I very much want to get into spring vibes, and it's nice and sunny, and I want that to continue. Obviously, spring is full of rain and misery as well, but for now, what I want to do is just enjoy the spring. So for that purpose, I want to not overwhelm myself with just grabbing tons and tons of palettes and saying, look, I want to use all these palettes over the next 3 months. I don't want to do that to myself. So we have 3 months, we have 3 palettes. It's going to be a palette per month that I want to focus on. So my goal really would be, I want to pick a week in the month where I'm going to not necessarily just hone in on that one palette, but I want to focus on it. I want to at least use it a couple times that week, so it's not neglected, so I do get that little bit of spice of life that I want from the palette, and everyone can be happy. So I do have 3 palettes in front of me. I'm just going to go through them with you. I'm not sure which month I'm going to use which palette. I don't even know if this is going to work. I don't know how I'm going to come back to you and track it. I will try to do something where I can record how it goes so that when we get to summer, I can say how spring went. I think cutting it down and having more focus and purpose to it will be better in the long run for me, and I'll just feel like, I'm doing a little bit more and I'm using the palettes a little bit more. So I definitely have a lot of spring palettes in my collection, and there are lots that I could have pulled from, but these are the 3 that I've decided today that I want to use. Maybe in a month's time I will change my mind, but these are the 3 that I want to use, and there's no real reason to them, but I've picked them, okay? So the first one, I'm going to use my Aurora Struck from ColourPop. This is not the original. This is a revamped version of it where I have depotted a lot of ColourPop shades over the palettes that I have accumulated in the last 5-6 years, and this is what mine looks like. So it's a lot brighter, it's a lot more spring-like. It still has quite a decent amount of mattes in here, and then it has a full range of shimmers as well that I can use and work on. This was a Pan That Palette contender for this year. Didn't get too many votes, which maybe that is a good thing. I don't know, there's just so much variety though. I think I would have had fun with this, but I want to be using this at some point over the coming 3 months. So this one I definitely want to put into the mix. I think spring is the perfect time for this. I can use this palette pretty much all year round. I think it has enough in it to be able to do that. But for me, when I look at this, it just screams spring. So this is a no-brainer for me of a palette that I want to be using over the next 3 months. And we'll try to focus on it 1 week at some point where I can manage to do that and not neglect all my other projects. I mean, that's the thing, right? When I do these types of challenges for myself, I don't want to neglect other things, and I know that I will. So we'll just see how it goes. But this is the first one that I want to use over the next 3 months, and I think it's like a no-brainer. Like I said, I think it's just the perfect one to do. Then I wanted something with a little bit more sparkle, a little bit brighter. I'm going to pick the Glam Shop Sorbet palette. This one obviously is smaller, but it does pack a punch, and there's some gorgeous, gorgeous shades in here. I can definitely go more neutral if I want to, or even do mustardy yellow look with these ones over here, or I can go bright pink, I can go green, there's purple. There's quite a lot in this little 12-pound palette, and so I really want to play around with this a little bit more, and I think because of these bright tones up here, it does scream spring to me because they're just so beautiful and delicious, and it doesn't have that warmth that sometimes a summer palette would bring, and it's not necessarily a palette that I want to use over autumn or winter time. So I really do think this is a definite spring palette for me, and I don't want to neglect it this year for spring. For this one, I am rolling in to this little challenge of mine that I'm doing. So yeah, this one, no brainer, definitely going into that one. Okay, and then this third one is more so that I can actually use this palette because it is a palette that is potentially on the chopping block, and I just never want to go into it. It's just not on the forefront of my mind. I'm going to be trying to use the Blend Away palette from PLouise that I got in one of their budget boxes. Would I have ever bought this myself? Absolutely not. It's just one of those enormous, terrible palettes that you end up getting. And I never got another budget box from PLouise because, quite frankly, I got just enough from them. So this palette obviously is enormous. It is a little bit more, quite a bit more boring than the other two in terms of the shades. There are just so many redundant shades in here, but the formula is actually good with PLouise. And so I want to get some more use. There's so many shades in here that I've never used before. I have never done no pan left behind on this one. I think for the most, actually no, there's a lot of shimmers I still haven't touched. So I can go very neutral. I can obviously go pinks. And you know, these types of peachy pinks are very much my vibe for the springtime. So when I was looking at palettes to use over the coming months, I did actually think this would be a good contender because I can go neutral if I want to, but I can lean into more of those very much the lighter, pinker, peachy tone looks that I do tend to do over spring. And I do like to experiment more with lighter, brighter eye makeup. I mean, you wouldn't expect it, but it's not spring yet. So this one I just want to roll in just to see how I get on with it. If I can't make it work, if I have no inspiration to use this, then I can sadly eventually say goodbye to it, but I've just never put it into a project. I've never, well, it has been in Pan Those Eyeshadows, but Pan Those Eyeshadows are just focused on the one shade. So I've never actually forced myself to use this palette, to use it consistently over more than just one day. So we are rolling this one in. It's obviously an old palette too, so we'll see how it goes. And that is kind of it. Those are like my focus palettes for spring coming up. And I hopefully you enjoyed this type of video and this type of challenge that I'm doing. It's not even necessarily a challenge, it's just like, this is what I want to do. Hopefully I do it. And while I do use these eyeshadow palettes, I'll try to record it, or I'll try to put some sort of recap in place at the end of the season so we can see if something's happened or not. I don't know how I'm going to do that, but I'm sure I'll figure it out, or I'll just forget to do it, but it doesn't really matter. But thank you so much for jumping on for a quick little video of mine just to talk about some spring palettes. What are you doing this spring? Are you focusing on any palettes of your own? Do you have a specific palette to use over the month? I know some people do like 3 palettes in the week, and they focus on those palettes, and they switch it up. And I think that is such a good idea. And if I weren't doing other projects, I would absolutely lean into more of that. I mean, maybe I should regardless. Maybe I should just cut back on projects. Let me know down below which projects you don't care about too. Like the projects that I do that you watch, what are the ones that you care less about? I mean, I could probably figure it out with the views that I get on certain projects, but you know, you never know. So yeah, would love to know your thoughts and which palettes or palette you are focusing on for spring, or if you're just gonna wing it. Usually I wing it, but I wanna have a little bit of a focus over the next few months. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you want to stick around and watch other things from me. But otherwise, thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye.